everyone, Julian here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make lo-fi ambient breakcore like SEWERSLVT. I've learned a bunch of new techniques and really nailed it down now. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this stuff and really get it right, just like the SEWERSLVT sound and this sound in general. As usual, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets. The entire template is available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely don't miss out. I haven't heard a single other template for this style on the market, and definitely nothing else as authentic or high quality as this. So go ahead and grab it and support yourself making the best tracks of your life. I promise there's nothing else you can do right now to make the best track of your career. Just go ahead and grab it and it'll help you. Thanks so much for the support, everybody. Enjoy, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 172 BPM. Actually not as fast as you would think, right? When you hear these tracks, you probably think it's faster. It's actually like right around 170, 172 like this. And the first thing we have up here is a distorted 808. So what we're doing here is our progression is F minor, C sharp major, C minor, and then that G sharp major, and then back down to our root note. So it's kind of following a progression. It's really more about the rhythm though, like I can't lie. It's like that kind of classic jungle idea where you have like a breakbeat, which is very fast, and then this slower halftime bass line. Like dum 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 dum, like that eighth note groove. That's what you want. So I'd recommend writing the groove and then try switching it to different notes that are in the key of whatever you want. Like you could just start with like, you know, let's say we're in A. You know, like make that, put it, and then you could go like, so you can start making the pattern that way. It's actually not that hard if you just start with a rhythm. For the sound, so it's this 808 sample, which is already just nice. It's a really full 808. I'll play you the original. Like super fat, right? I actually low passed it. So you're not getting all those highs, but it's still really full because it's distorted. And then we're boosting the bass, which I normally wouldn't do. But when you want to get really lo-fi like this, that actually can kind of mess up your master in a way that you want. Especially to really get the texture out of the drums. Like a lot of what you're hearing in these tracks is like this bass pushing up against the highs and kind of crunching. And like, we're not even clipping into this mastering here, but you see how just that extra push, like it'll really crunch against the high end like that. Then we have our main drums. So what we're doing here is to get the really, really crunchy, messed up breakbeats, you have to have obviously some really crunchy, messed up breakbeats. But that doesn't really work if you want any punch out of them. Like you need a layer that's that, and then you need a layer which is this, which is just much more punchy and full sounding. So what we're doing here is it's really kind of just in the sample. Like this is this really nice amen break that I have. I pitched it up a little bit, and you can see you get a lot of definition out of the kick and snare without it being like over the top too. Like a lot of times when you try to get like a kick sample and a snare and bring it in, it'll kind of like be too much. This is like the perfect blend of like definition but still breakbeat. I also EQ'd it a little, just boosted the highs, cut out the subs, and then when you put that with the other drums, again, it's not like too much like if you got like a big 909 kick and try to force it in there, but it's just going to give them that kind of definition. Because if you listen to these tracks, yes, the breakbeats are really messed up, but if you just do messed up, distorted breakbeats, it's not going to have this same level of punch that this has. So we have that, and then we also have this layer. So what we're doing here, I'll turn off the effects. We have these. This breakbeat, you'll notice it's a different pattern than this is doing. And I heard that in a lot of the SEWERSLVT tracks. You'll have like the main one is just, you know, 2-step, just standard amen pattern. But then the other, these can be like, and you can see it creates a really cool groove. So we have that, we have this one. And you can see even having those play different patterns still fits nicely together. This one's pitching here. That was just like in the sample. And it's just like working with that, right? So then there's this guy, which is being high passed a bit. And then the last one is this, which is high passed a lot, but it's just adding that tambourine, almost like a think break kind of sound. Because I was noticing that if you just do the amens, you're missing that like shaker that you get from something like this. So I have that, right? And then there's also this one, which is just like for fills. I chopped that up a bunch, right? Just using like 1/8 note chops like that and 1/4 note here. And then what's happening? So then on the whole group, we have a few effects. We have an EQ, which is cutting out the lows and boosting the mids and highs a bit. We're using an amp and then another EQ. So what we're really trying to do is just get those insane crunchy breaks. So we go like, that's the first EQ. You can see it makes it sharper. And then the amp, which is only at 48%. So you're actually hearing a lot of that dry signal still, but it's enough of the amp to where obviously, you know, it really pushes it, and pushing the highs and mids into that makes it more of like that. You can see without the EQ before, you don't quite get the sound. But then after we have another EQ, which is cutting out even more lows that the amp can add, and then boosting the highs even more. And that's where you really get the like insane crunch. And then when you put that with the other break, you can see it's just all going to sit together really nicely. And that's how you do the drums. And then we have the pad. So it's just kind of like these two jazzy chords droning. It fits really nicely over the bass line. Because again, we're in the key of F minor here. And if you look, it's all just like pretty simple F minor stuff. Like, okay, so for example, this would be like a root note, a 4th, 5th, 6th. It's mainly these like jazzy voices, like having the 5th and the 6th together and creating that dissonance, but then grounding it with the 4th and the root note. So it'll just create that beautiful pad plus a root note and a minor 3rd up there. Here we're going down to just a C minor. Then we're doing root note, minor 3rd, 4th, another root, a 5th, and then a 6th. Again, it's like super jazzy. It's not really that hard to do. I mean, if you basically what you need to do is you gotta figure out what key you're in, so like F minor here, and just put together some notes in that key until you get these chords. Like I'm telling you, like you don't necessarily need music theory to do this. Now, for the sound, this is made with 4 layers. That's a secret to these jungle pads, is you need a lot of different layers coming together with like different movements. And then you get this big crazy pad. So we're starting, I'll turn off all the effects. We're starting with this one wavetable patch here. So this is this verbed wavetable and a bit of bit sweep. We have an LFO on the filter frequency, not that much of it though. And on the 2 oscillator positions, it's 2 different LFOs too. So you can see like they're moving different and you get like more variation. Plus there's this random note unison. Then we have this wavetable patch. Which you can hear is more of this digital morph. That goes really well with the other one. You can see how it's all starting to come together here. So this is the spectral with a square wave. We have a low pass filter. And then we have an LFO on the oscillator 1 position plus some position sync unison. We have a choir sample. So kind of adding something smoother that's like organic. And then we have this wavetable patch with the stepped vowels and this sarod with LFOs on them, and you can see you're just getting a ton of movement. And then you put all 4 of those together. And there you go. We have a low pass, which is really just cutting out the like bright, super sharp highs. We have a bit of echo. Some reverb, which creates like the wall of sound. And then we have a high pass. So then we have this backup pad. This just plays 2 notes like this. But you can see, as awkward as it might seem, it actually adds to that other pad really well. And this is another thing with these tracks, is like the pads a lot of times are not just like one layer. Like even though that one layer is pretty dense musically and it has the 4 layers, if you add this one other thing behind it, playing notes that will work well with that, you can really create something beautiful because it's a different sound, but it kind of all comes together and creates one chord, right? So this is literally just playing like musically here. We're going, again, we're in F minor. It's minor 3rd and 4th, 5th, and then a root note. And also going up to that root note there, I think really grounds it too. For the actual sound, it's made with analog. This is 2 saw waves, a low pass filter with a little bit of an LFO moving around. We have some chorus, we have a bit of reverb, and that's it. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full template, the entire samples, MIDI, presets, and the project file are all available at the top of the description on my website for just $5. It's a really great, accessible template. It's really high quality. I haven't seen anything else like this on the market for this style. So definitely go ahead and grab this so you can make your best tracks of your life. Thank you so much for the support. Enjoy, guys. This is the best thing you can do right now to support making the best tracks of your career. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.